All right, you're watching the Beach Brothers Show. I'm Seko Varner. I'm here back again with my good brother from another mother and father, Jose Cruz, and my good brother from another mother and father, my comrade, Conrad. So Jose is our business beach brother. You know, we're called the Beach Brothers because we all live in Virginia Beach and we all love Virginia. So tonight we have on a special election night, pre-election night event. We're going to speak to one of the candidates who people will be voting for tomorrow, and that's going to be an incumbent school board member, Mr. Rodney Jordan. So, Rodney, welcome to the Beach Brothers.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for inviting me, and pleased to be here with you tonight.
Good stuff. I understand that you actually grew up in Virginia Beach, so you're really a Beach brother as well.
Yeah, born in Norfolk. Family moved to Virginia Beach. I graduated from Virginia Beach City Public Schools and been around the country and made my way back to Norfolk, and have been holding things down in Norfolk and very much involved in activities in the region. So to me, education is a regional issue as much as it is a local municipal issue.
Okay. Why do you say that, Rodney?
Well, you know, what impacts one school division impacts them all. Those of us in the Hampton Roads or Tidewater region, we know that we have employees that live in one city and work in another. When we deal with weather issues or issues even right now with the pandemic. So there's a lot of collaboration and coordination that goes on across our school divisions. And so in my view, I think that, you know, as we deal with our workforce issues, as we say we want to be a competitive region, you know, we are only as strong as a region as each city and as each school division is strong. When employers are looking to locate here, or when they're looking to maintain their employee base here, they look at the quality of our educated citizenry, and that's for a region. And so clearly, while I'm in Norfolk and you all in Virginia Beach, and Virginia Beach has its independent school system and Norfolk has its independent school system, truly for us to be regionally competitive, all of our school systems have to make sure that we are producing quality educated workforce and entrepreneurs and those who can make the economy boom for our entire region, in addition to our individual cities.
Okay. We have a quick question that just populated. Thank you, good brother Conrad, for that question. The question is, Norfolk Public Schools announced beginning April 20th, the city 5 public high schools began distributing mobile devices to students who expressed the need for technology. So being a part of the school board, you had to be a part of that decision. Tell me how that all fell in place.
So let me say that the school board's job is really to govern, set policy. We pass budgets, we hire and work to retain a superintendent. The superintendent has administrative responsibilities day to day. So really our superintendent in Norfolk, just as your superintendent in Virginia Beach, and especially during this pandemic, have increased flexibility that allows for them to meet the needs of the students and the employees. You know, it's funny in this particular issue that you bring up with technology. So while Norfolk is doing a good job of making devices available, I'm also familiar with the Chromebook initiative that you all have had in Virginia Beach City Public Schools for some time. And it's interesting. So you can take Newtown Road, which may split Bayside on one side and part of Norfolk on the other side. And depending upon which side of Newtown Road you're on, you may have a Chromebook with a Schoology platform and something that you've had in your hands for since the beginning of the school year. And then in parts of Norfolk, due to the pandemic, you get access to devices. So there are issues of inequity that exist inside of school divisions, and there are issues of inequity that exist across school divisions.
Interesting. How challenging was, making those devices available for the students?
Well, I think the administration and the school system has done a good job. one of the things that, because to my understanding at the time, we did not have devices for every student. So we've had some backpack initiatives, we've had some individual initiatives at high schools, but this rollout that we've done really has taken many of the devices that were used on a regular basis and made those available to students versus a model where the students have their own individual devices that are assigned to them that they bring to school and that they take home.
I'd like to jump in with the next little topic here, and this is comparing it a little bit with Virginia Beach City Public Schools. My mom works in that part of food service, and Norfolk students will also now be provided meals for the weekend, as well as also distributed through the week. Perhaps you can touch on that a little bit.
Well, I think the meal service is critical. As you know, many of our students, the best, most nutritious meal that they have during the day is when they come to school. And so during this pandemic, what the governor, what local school divisions, what the state recognized is we need to be able to keep these meals going so that students are continuing to receive nutritious meals. And for a lot of students, it is their primary meal source. So we know that students that are healthy and fed and receive nourishment are much more likely to also be fed the academics that we want them to receive. So I think it's very important to have these services available during this pandemic, not only during the day, but also available during the weekend to the extent that school divisions can afford to do that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rodney. Norfolk Public Schools has expanded its meal distribution to include providing weekend meals to students starting May 1st. Every Friday, children will be given additional breakfast and lunch items for Saturday and Sunday, in addition to their regular weekday meals. Is there anything that you can go into detail as far as how that's going to work out for them?
Well, I can just tell you that what we've been doing thus far during the pandemic is there are specific days students are able to come up to their local school or to certain school sites, because it's not every school, but certain school sites. And there's a distancing apparatus that is at work that allows for parents and students to come and do a grab and go and get their meals and then go home and consume it. Also during that time, because it brings families or students to those sites, there's other information that Norfolk City Schools is making available, whether it's learning packets or other information that the superintendent, administration, or the principal or the teachers want to make sure that the students receive. Because as I said with with the first question, all students don't have the devices in their homes, even with this distribution. So in Norfolk, we're trying to make sure that we have hard copy packets of information available for the students to continue their learning during the pandemic, just as they're able to access that information should they have the devices and internet access at home.
Intriguing. Well, as you know, Rodney, in 2018, I ran for the school in Virginia Beach, and I reached out to you and you said, Seko, are you crazy? So I'm going to ask you the same question. You've been on the school board now since what, 2014?
2012.
2012. So are you crazy? What are you crazy enough about that makes you want to run for the school board?
So let me use the terminology this way. I'm crazy about our children. And so the bedrock of our democracy, the bedrock of our economy, the bedrock of, if I may say, for African Americans who have been able to sustain and achieve in this country, oftentimes under trying circumstances, the bedrock of that is based upon education. So I was doing a show earlier, and one of the things that I was sharing on that show was, a quote by Frederick Douglass that just says that, learning to read makes one free. So being on the school board and being able to set policy and being able to provide governance and vision for 30,000 children is critically important. I did ask if you were crazy because it's a lot of dedication and it's a lot of work. And unfortunately, sometimes the interests of adults and debates and discussions that adults have can get in the way of what children need. But I feel that I've done a very good job during the time that I've been on the board, providing a foundation for the division to grow. And I would like to see that progress continue for the next 4 years.
Would you also like to briefly talk about your wards, Ward 7, and perhaps specifically you're a part of, Park Place, if that's accurate, and the Urban League, perhaps? I know you are all in that.
Sure. So in Norfolk, from Virginia Beach, you all into awards.
Wow, did we get a freeze?
Very managed by race.
Did we get a freeze?
Yeah.
We got a freeze. We got a
so
freeze.
It was drawn.
Okay. So we're going to give Mr. Jordan the opportunity to get his Wi-Fi signal back. Thank you, JC, for your message that children, I guess you meant our children, are extremely important now and always. All right. Yeah. It takes a really dedicated person for somebody to run for the school board. I think Mr. Jordan is back.
Y'all make sure.
Are we back?
Yep. Make sure I'm in sync with you. Okay. So in any event, so Super Ward 7 represents half of the city, and then Super Ward 6 represents half of the city, and then we have 5 smaller wards that also are part of the Norfolk system. Park Place Civic League is one of the civic leagues I'm a member of. It's a civic league I've been the longest member of, and when I moved to Norfolk, I moved into the Park Place community, have been very active there. 35th Street is the neighborhood corridor. We call it the soul of Norfolk. So that's right there. And then while I'm not a member of the Urban League of Hampton Roads currently, I've been very active in the Urban League over the years, been a member. The Urban League has been an organization that's been supportive of a lot of great work in our region. And in downtown Norfolk, there's a Martin Luther King Memorial at the corner of Brambleton and Church Street. My family was involved with seeing that memorial conceived and erected, and the Urban League of Hampton Roads played a great role in helping us to fundraise in order to make that Martin Luther King Memorial possible.
Okay.
All right, great. Man, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. What's the most challenging part of being on the school board?
I think for most school board members, just trying to adjust and learn their role in terms of governance versus management. Most school board members are type A personalities, or they bring certain expertise and passion to the school board. You know, nobody volunteers or runs or gets appointed to a school board that doesn't have strong passions about topics that are important to them. But learning as a school board member that what you may do in your profession is not necessarily what you do on the school board. You have other colleagues. You have to learn and work towards building a team there. You have to work to develop a relationship with the superintendent. And most importantly, you have to make sure that you keep children first. But so I don't say that it's a challenge so much, but I do think that it's critically important that if one is going to be a school board member, that A, you prepare for it, And then as you become a school board member, that since we're in the business of educating children, we also should be in the business of educating ourselves. So we should be involved with professional development and training in terms of our role as school board members, just as we would ask our administrators to be trained in their field. We ask our teachers to have degrees, and we ask our students to learn and to be able to demonstrate their mastery of content. And I think as school board members, there's content and subject matter that we need to master, and we need to be committed to our own professional development so that we can make decisions in the best interest of children.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the things that I worry about when I look at the school systems is, are we truly preparing our students for a future that we can't even truly understand or forecast? So under your time since 2012, you know, how much change has happened that's really improved the ability of our seniors who graduate to face the world? What's really changed for the better since 2012?
So in the few minutes I have left, I will tell you part of my personal advocacy and part of the work that I think has been happening at the state. So as you all know, there's been a lot of issues around standards of learning, SOLs, and I think it would be fair to say that as a Commonwealth and really as a country, we went too far, and we were creating and teaching children how to be good test takers. What has come about through engagement with teachers, with school board members and others, and working with our General Assembly and with the Commonwealth leadership, we've seen a shift back now where we're focusing on critical thinking skills and making sure that children know how to collaborate with one another and dealing with the culture and climate in the big picture and the holistic learning. So it's still important to be able to master the content as has been identified. But what employers are saying and what colleges are looking for are for individuals who can collaborate and communicate and who can have critical thinking skills. So over these last few years, I think there has been a shift. I know there's been a shift, and many of us have advocated for that shift, that then make sure that part of our curriculum and part of our, what we say now in Virginia, the profile of a graduate, involves these critical thinking skills and the 5 C's that they call them, in order to make sure that not only can a child master the content of algebra or geometry or physics or English or Spanish, whatever it may be, but they know how to critically think, and that they can read, and that they can dissect, and that they can use those skills, which frankly are applicable or can be applicable to any particular trade or industry. And because that's what employers are telling us. If you bring us somebody who can critically think, who can get along with one another, who appreciates the diversity, then the employer knows they have someone that they can help shape and mold to meet the needs of their particular business or industry sector.
Okay, I have one last question.
Okay, because I got to run. So okay.
I know you got to run. But I know that you're facing a competitor. You're an incumbent, but you're facing a competitor. Yes. So why should people continue with the program that's already in place instead of going with the new program? Why should they choose you tomorrow?
Well, I'll just simply say that unlike Virginia Beach, Norfolk has had quite a bit of turnover. We've had turnover at the board level. We've had turnover at the superintendent level. And data and research tells us that when you have this constant churn, it has a negative impact on student learning. In my particular district or ward, I have a significant number of schools that are high poverty schools, schools in challenging environments, schools with students with a lot of needs. We need consistency. I have been engaged in a lot of work, development, governance, preparation, engagement in the community. And as we're in the midst of this pandemic, I believe and I know that I bring the skills, the continuity, the professional development, and the understanding of the role of a school board member in order to ensure that the students in my ward and the students in the entire city can continue to grow and do well. We need equity, we need excellence, and we need community engagement. And to me, our children matter, and that's why I'm running for re-election.
Okay, gentlemen, before we close, any last statements?
I told Tanya, haven't been to work so long. Do you know I left my purse at work?
Get out.
Sorry about that.
Did you have to go back and get it?
Okay.
No, right?
That's what happens when you have
So
two meetings going on at the same.
I think we just lost Rodney. Woo, that was funny. That was funny. Yo, man, you know, when that person shows up that, you know, runs the house,
Yeah, leave it alone.
you know what you got to do. Hey, Jose, man, did we get a chance to shout out and salute one of our great businesses here in the Hampton Roads area tonight?
Sure thing, brother Seko. Tonight, I want to highlight Hector's Tires and Rims. It's located at 3840 East Little Creek Road in Norfolk. Awesome place to get the tires and rims. They do great deals. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So stop in and see them and tell them Jose and the Beach Brothers sent you.
All right, great. Any last words, Conrad?
I'll note that both Mr. Rodney and you, Mr. Seko, went to Hampton, but I'm just wearing a NSU shirt today. So.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, look, you know what? I'm a proud Norfolk State father. So my son is a rising junior at Norfolk State. And, you know, I've actually been very pleased with the experience he's had at Norfolk State. His freshman year, he went from just being a student employee because he works in the McDermott Center and does research.
Outstanding.
I mean, beautiful. And my daughter has just decided that she wants to be a Spartan. So I'll be a Hamptonian, black and bougie. And I'll let my kids be Spartans, right?
There you
But
go.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, you've been watching the Beach Brothers show. I'm Seko Varner. This is Jose. Jose is our insurance guy, our investment guy. If you need to, you know, make sure get your financial house in order, contact Jose. And Virginia Beach, take a hard look. Take a hard look at Conrad. He had some great ideas from the city of Virginia Beach, and I know he's going to make some great changes once he gets on the city council. If you're interested in joining the Beach Brothers, contact Jose, and he takes care of the business shout-outs, the business sponsorships. And if you like to get on the show as a seated politician or a running candidate, get in contact with Conrad. We can get you on the show. And until then, keep it beachy.